Shout out to Kopish.
Shout out to Kop-Ish, guys.
Keep all the good work
the
up.
two legends, Emil Heskey, Howard Gell. Can't get much better than that, guys. Yeah. You know what to do now. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm with legends, guys.
Kopish.
Good evening, lovely people. Hope you're all well and welcome to a special one-off show. I think Drifty's favourite show that we've probably ever done on Kop-Ish.
Yay, yay!
We wax lyrical about our captain, Jordan Brian Henderson, who celebrates his 10th year anniversary since signing for Liverpool Football Club. People, before we go any further, scroll up, smash the like button, and then scroll back down and you're all good. Don't forget to smash that like button, people, and share this video. Drift. In an age where there's not much loyalty in football, there's a hell of a lot of criticism. Players have to go through a lot on and off the pitch. Agents, changing of management, systems, etc. Very, very few people nowadays stay at a club for 5 years, let alone 10. However, Jordan Henderson has now spent a decade at Liverpool Football Club, and I'll be honest, that has flown by. When they started doing all the social media around it this morning, I was like, 10 years already. I remember when he signed, but it just came out of nowhere. So, bro, like Hendo, like Captain Fantastic Hendo.
Bro, listen, today's gonna be a good day, bro. And you know what? I just want everyone to know that when we're coming up with ideas, when we have our schedule meetings, you were the one who suggested this before I get people going, just got an agenda. Look what's going on.
No, this was me.
No, but I want the people to know because they're gonna think I did this on purpose. They're gonna think that I was like.
I know, but I might run with the narrative still, just for banter, just for a laugh.
And excuse me, I'm going to wipe my forehead a lot during this show because
bruv,
I am
you and me both
boiling, bro. Oh,
you and me both.
Days.
I don't know if you saw the Daily News show. I think it was Monday. I did it. Drift. When I'm telling you, bro, I lost weight in that 10 minutes that I did for that video.
I can imagine, bro.
But I came out, my t-shirt was baggy. I was like, right, is this me, yeah? I lost weight. It's hot at the moment. But you know what? I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it.
I do like it. But I just literally washed my face 5 minutes. Apologies. That's why we were late. I told Cal I got to quickly wash my face and I'm sweating again already, bro. This is the joke.
Trust me. Shout out to Himanshu, one of our long-time subscribers. Happy birthday. Let's drop the beat for Himanshu. True Don, hay fever is killing me. True Don, when I'm telling you, I am suffering. Pollen is a madness today. I don't know what's in the pollen. I don't know who annoyed the pollen, but it seems like the pollen's just out here just looking for trouble. The pollen is Debo. The pollen is Debo, and it will barge you, it will knock you out, and it will take your bike. It is Debo. Absolute problem. But
I'm glad I don't have hay fever, man. I can't.
Bro, look what I've got to travel with, bro. If I get stopped by police, bro, and they start going through my work bag, they'll be like, oh, you shot in on the side here, coward. Bro, everywhere I go, look. There's hay fever tablets everywhere. I've got some in the car, got some at work, got some in my work bag at home.
No. I remember one time when I spoke to you and I thought you had COVID. You were like, "No, bro, this is hay fever."
Yeah. It's absolute madness, man.
You sounded rough that day, and I was like, "What, hay fever can bruck you up like this?" Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It does get to me, man. It gets to me bad. Look, let's get into it. So back in 2011, if you can't believe, Jordan Henderson signed for Liverpool after Kenny Dalglish decided to splash £16 million, which is a fee that could have raised to 20 million. I'm not sure if it ever was confirmed whether it did or not, but he came from Sunderland. And when he came from Sunderland, there was a lot of hype around him. However, when his first season, he was kind of put out on the right-hand side of a 4-4-2. Remember, Kenny had Downing on the left, Henderson on the right, and then Gerrard and someone else in the middle, whether it be Lucas or Charlie Adam. And then you'd go with Carroll and Suarez up front. That first season was hard for Henderson. Do you remember sort of your thoughts on Henderson when he was playing that sort of right-hand side role? And what you made of him, Drift.
Yeah, I remember thinking, all right, he's got a good cross on him, but and a decent pass on him. But I also remember thinking, future Liverpool captain, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Don't give me that crap. I don't want to hear any of this. And I'll be honest with you, bro. I felt like it was an English agenda. Like, let's keep it real. Downing, Carroll, Hendo. Like, it truly felt like some kind of British revolution going on. Do you know what I mean? And again, I have absolutely no problem with the ethnicity of who plays for the team whatsoever. But as an ethnic person, you can't help when you kind of look at the team and you think, oh, there's no black players in this team. This is mad.
Yeah, it was a bit. It was a bit.
This
mad.
is mad. What is going on?
There's only Glenn.
And then occasionally Glenn would play, and it was like, and then even he cut off the plats, and I'm like, raw. They're not even allowing man to express himself and that. Like, okay. And I remember just thinking, nah, don't tell me he's going to be the future Liverpool captain. This is foolishness. Now you're trying to sell man a real dream here. Do you know what I mean? But I did think he could cross well, and he was energetic. That's how I felt. I was like, I can get about. I can tell he can get about the pitch, and he's got good crossing him. We're gonna play him wide. I thought we were meant to put him in the middle. That's where we were told we were gonna buy him. Yeah. To play him. But all right, we're playing him wide. All right, cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'm like you, Drift. When we signed him, I was like, okay, he's a good player. But when I was hearing the future captain talk and he's a special player and he's got great technique, I was thinking, special, great. I'm thinking that's big words to be using for Henderson. Like, by all means, he had a good season at Sunderland before we signed him. But I was thinking, going a bit overboard here. And I was thinking, all right, we spent 20 million on Downing. He only cost £4 million less. And I was like, Downing was kind of proven at that point. And I was like, this is a bit of a left of field shout here, but you know, we do need another centre midfielder. So when I saw him playing out on the right, I was thinking, Kenny, I love you, but what go on here, big man? Like, and even if you remember back to Kenny, like that team was actually on paper defensively. He had Rayner in goal, Glenn right back, Jose Enrique left back, and then he had Agger and Skirtle centre backs.
Like, it was a good defense, bro.
That was a good defense, a very good defense. And then obviously you still had Gerrard, who was still in his prime at that point.
Yeah.
Suarez hadn't hit the levels yet, but you could see how much of a special player he's going to be. But that was it, though. You kind of just had that, and then Hendo playing out on the right. He never looked convincing. He never beat his man. He's not a winger that you'd associate sort of your Mo's, your Mane's, your Sane's.
He was David Beckham, but without the special technique. That's what it was like, basically.
Precisely. So you knew defensively you're going to be sound down that side, but attacking wise, it didn't really offer much. And then, don't get me wrong, Carroll missed a bag of chances that he shouldn't have missed as well. So it's like, I don't know. I was just thinking it weren't working. And then I tell you, when I actually started to turn the corner with Henderson, at the end of that season, we played Chelsea in the FA Cup final. I remember Jay Spearing started that game. We played 4-5-1 in that game, and Henderson played out on the right. Spearing played through the middle to start with, and we actually lost that. We went 2-0 down, two Jay Spearing kind of mistakes, and he took Jay Spearing off, brought in Andy Carroll, and moved Jordan Henderson to the centre of the pitch. And for the first time, I looked at Henderson and I said, you know what, this boy has got something about him. He's not fantastic, he's not remarkable, but he's solid. And he can
change
work
the game when he did that as well.
Yeah, and Carroll changed the game.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
But I was like, we've got something we can work with here. So I remember going into the 2012-13 season where Brendan had just taken over, and I was feeling quite optimistic. But here's where it gets a bit techie now. So Brendan comes in, and in 2012, Henderson was on the verge of being sold to Fulham, which would have involved a deal to bring Clint Dempsey the other way. So I believe the deal would have been something like 4 million plus Henderson to get Clint Dempsey. He obviously was in a dark place at this time, being at the club just over a year, and now he's looking at being sold. And I think at the time, I don't know about you, Drift, but I wasn't that high on him, but I didn't want him to be sold either, because we needed the numbers. And Clint Dempsey shouldn't have been coming to the club at the expense of one of our midfielders. Which
you want to know? And again, madness, bro.
It's an FSG move, isn't it?
Oh no, super FSG move. This is when they were new to us, bro. We didn't have a clue that they were gonna run things like this forever. Bro, I bullshit you not.
You wanted him gone.
I wanted him, but I wanted Dempsey badly. And I was willing to sacrifice him. And I am so sorry. I apologize. If I ever met Jordan, I would actually be like, bro, I'm actually apologizing. And he'd be like, for what? I'd be like, bro, I'm just apologizing. I owe you one. Because I was like, I want Clint Dempsey. I don't care. And the thing is, people would be like, who? They'd be like, what? That Call of Duty guy from the zombies? Be like, no, Dempsey at that time.
I'll be honest, that's gone right actually... over my head, Drift, bro.
Yeah, no. Shout out all my Call of Duty guys. I don't know what I'm talking about. But I would actually put him in maybe like top 7 or 8 of the strikers in the league at that time. Like I thought Dempsey was a really good striker, and I felt like, you know what, with him and Suarez, we could do bits, man.
Especially
like,
the level
that Andy Carroll thing. Do you get what I mean? Like him and Suarez, that'll be a naughty little 1-2 up front. Like, yeah, man, forget Carroll. Carroll can go. Like that ain't working. It's clearly obvious it ain't gonna work. Whatever. Yeah, get Dempsey. And if that was what it needed, then I was like, cool. Do you know what I mean? Like that, do it. Oh man, am I glad that it never went through, bro. My God.
So here's the thing. Under Brendan, so we didn't sell him that season. We obviously kept him, but he was a bit part player. And at the time, we had John Joe Shelby at the same time. And I'll be honest with you, and I'll say to this day, player for player, like I think Shelby's a better passer. I think he's a slightly better dribbler. Hendo's much more of an athlete. There's no two ways about that. I think Shelby's better at dictating the game. I think Shelby's got a better shot. I think he's got I think
Shelby's
he's more
a
creative.
baller, bro. It's all up here with Shelby. Shelby's a baller.
Precisely. So I don't know if you remember, many fans were like you. They were like, well, you know, we've got Shelby, so you know we're good, innit? We're good. Like if Henderson goes, like fair enough, because we got Shelby. Like, Shelby was meant to be the next Gerrard. Like that was meant to be the guy. But he outlasted him. And when we sold Shelby, I was like, bro. I remember selling Shelby at the end of the 2012-2013 season. And I was thinking, but hold on, Brendan's been waxing lyrical about Shelby. And he just dumped him. He was waxing lyrical about Spearing. Dumped him. But Henderson's still about. And I was thinking to myself, what's going on here? And obviously we brought in Joe Allen as well. And I was thinking, all right, so Hendo's definitely not getting him. Yeah, definitely not getting him in field. But when I watched Joe Allen, I was thinking, Henderson's kind of better than this guy, though. Like, with all due respect to Allen, Henderson's better than Joe Allen. I think 13, 14.
Not at dribbling. That was the one thing. I thought Joe Allen's dribbling was very good.
Very good. I don't, Drift. I got to be honest with you.
I do. I felt like when you needed a player to bring the ball from, you know, like when the DM receives the ball about maybe 30, 35 yards from goal, turns and does a little 30-yard run and lays off a pass. I thought Joe Allen was really good at doing that.
I don't know. We'll agree to disagree on that one, Drew.
Remember, because remember, we're talking about Joe Allen just coming in. I've been watching him at Swansea, and he was very good, bro. He was very good. I think Joe Allen was a tidy little decent footballer, to be honest.
I think he was just decent at best. But you see, when we got Allen, it was like, well, where's Hendo going to play? Now, I remember the start of the 13-14 season. We played 4-3-3 against Stoke at home. Daniel Sturridge got the winner. And Henderson was playing as a right-sided forward. And he actually had a really good game. To the point where Begovic had to pull off about 2 or 3 very, very good saves to stop Henderson scoring. But you see that season, 2013-14, that's for me the season where Henderson stood up and said, look, I'm a Liverpool player and I'm bona fide. Because you see that season, especially the second half of the season where he went on that amazing run before we lost to Chelsea, he was vital.
He became a man that season, bro. That was the season he went from a boy to a man.
Vital. And again, even game, like people think of like the Man City game and stuff like that. You remember the Swansea game where Wilfred Bonney like had a really good game and we beat them 4-3? Henderson got 2 goals in that game. Vital goals in that game.
One of them finishes was naughty as well, bro.
Yeah, from outside the box.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking, right, this guy's a machine. And I remember when we beat Arsenal 5-1 at home, and you remember Sturridge's goal, which I think was the 4th goal in that game. Remember, Coutinho played the pass, but it was actually Henderson who hunted down Ozil. Bro, when I'm telling you, I've never seen such intensity from a young man. Like, probably just went hunting, and I was like, bro, Henderson, leave him be, man. It's good. Like, we cornered him off. And it was almost like, nah, that ball's mine. I don't know what Brendan said to him before the game, but he was a man possessed in that game, and he took the ball off Ozil, played it off to Coutinho to Sturridge, and the rest is history. 4-0 up in 20 minutes. And that when he did stuff like that, I was like, right, this guy is exceptionally good. Like, he may not have the touch of a Xavi or Iniesta, he may not have the dribbling ability. He ain't a Gerrard. Like, let's stop comparing him to Gerrard. And I think that's when those comparisons stopped as well, because Gerrard was playing a quarterback role. And he just came into his own. He was playing on that right-hand side of the 4-4-2 diamond. And that side was just on lock. Like, good. Because remember, on the other side, that's where the rotation happened. The other side was either Allen, Coutinho, or Lucas Leiva. Like, Henderson was, I'm one of the first names on the team sheet. Everyone else can do their thing.
100%.
But you know the saying, absence makes the heart grow fonder. You see the moment he gave Nasri that high tackle and got sent off in that Man City game. I celebrated that win, but I turned to my missus and I said, we ain't going to win the league now, you know? And she was like, yeah, you will. Like, look, you just beat Man City. They were your closest rival. And I was like, nah. See that brother there who just got sent off? We're going to miss him. And she was like, oh, okay. And obviously she's looking at me thinking, I don't really care what you got to say right now. But I'm just like, we're going to miss him, you know? So, Drift, you see that season? What did that season mean to you for Henderson? And when he got sent off, were you like me? Did you think, well, that's it for the league?
I didn't think it was. I didn't right in that moment think, "Oh, we're done for the league." But when we played Chelsea, because we had Norwich after that, we beat Norwich, and then we played Chelsea, right?
Yeah.
And I remember during that Chelsea game, I was like, "Do you know what? It ain't Sturridge missing that's causing us problems in this game, you know. It's Hendo missing." Because if you remember, Sturridge didn't play the start that game either because he was coming back from an injury. And I remember thinking, everyone was like, oh, Sturridge missing is going to be the problem. And I remember watching that game and I was like, nah, Hendo missing is the problem. It's Hendo. And I'll be honest with you, bro, we didn't win the league because Henderson got that red card against Man City. I guarantee you, the collapse at Crystal Palace does not happen with Jordan Henderson in that team. And we at least get a draw in that game against Chelsea if Henderson is in that team. Nobody can tell me anything. We did not win the league because Jordan Henderson got that red card. I feel like he became a man in the 13-14 season. I feel like that was when everybody went from like, oh, who is this guy to, hold on a minute, okay. All the other fans still try to hate because, you know, like, do you know how many arguments I had with Arsenal fans about who was better at Ramsey and Henderson that season? That was the season. It was like proper, who's the better one? I'm like, just because Ramsey's better at scoring goals, it doesn't mean he's a better player than it. Like, we used to go back and forward all the time. And I rate Ramsey, but I was just like, as an overall player, you can't bring me Ramsey to Henderson. Ramsey's just better at scoring goals. And I remember everybody was kind of doubting him. But I think the Liverpool fan base at that moment went, now hold on a minute. Okay, yeah, I can't even like take the mick out of this guy anymore. Like, he is a very good player and he's very important. So yeah, bruv, he was key that season. I know everyone would always look at the front three, and they were on fire from January onwards. They really were. But people really downplay what Hendo, Gerrard, and Coutinho were doing behind them. Like, people act like we were a dead weight team that had no good players and just good strikers. I'm like, you don't get how good our midfield was with Coutinho, Hendo, and when we played the diamond, Sterling would drop into the midfield as well. It was like, they used to underestimate how good. I mean, Gerrard got Was it 13 goals and 13 assists from bloody quarterback?
I don't know if it was that many goals and assists, but he had a very good goal scoring.
Bro, he did. It was either 12. He got exact same goal and assist. It was either 12 of both or 13 of both. So it was either 24 or 26 goal contributions from Gerrard that season. I know a lot of them were penalties, but I don't care. He's playing quarterback, bro.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, bro, that season we was on fire and Henderson was a massive part of that, bro. Massive part of that. No doubt about it whatsoever.
Yeah, I agree. And obviously the situation happened with Gerrard slipping and stuff. And I think Henderson, he missed the Norwich, Crystal Palace and Chelsea game, and then obviously came back from the Newcastle game, which was the last game of the season. But it's like, that season was the closest we knew Gerrard was going to get to lifting that trophy, especially because we all knew deep down Suarez was going to leave at the end of that season as well. It made no secrets about it. I know we signed him up to a new contract in January, but that was just to put a release clause in the gentleman's agreement to say that, whatever happens, we're selling you at the end of the season.
We gave him 250 though. It's the most we've ever paid a player.
I don't think it was 250. I think it was 2.
No, it was 250, bro. I'm sure I remember reading that we paid him 250.
But we only did that because we knew we were selling him. Just a gentleman's agreement. So. We weren't going to keep on a 3-year contract at 250. We'd never have done that. We did. I
don't know, I think Suarez is one player that maybe the club would have, because we needed him. But anyway, this is about Henderson.
Yeah. So obviously going into 14-15, we kind of saw that Gerrard was starting to wind down a little bit. And the talk was that Henderson was going to be next in line for the captaincy. And I'll be honest with you, you see, after that 13-14 season, I was fully on board with it. If you'd asked me a season before, I'd have said some very horrible things to you if you said, you know what, Henderson could be the next captain. I'd have potentially got arrested for like verbal assault. But you see, after that season there, I said, you know what, I get it. I'd understand if he does become our next captain, because he's what Liverpool, he embodies Liverpool. He's never going to be a Gerrard. And I'm glad that the comparisons to Gerrard have stopped, because Gerrard is an anomaly when it comes to being a captain. He's not just a leader of men. He's a leader of just greatness as well. Like, and we can go.
He's an anomaly, full stop.
Yeah, we can go through history, and you can think of some of the great captains, like Roy Keane, for example, is a great captain. Patrick Vieira is a great captain, but they didn't single-handedly win as many games for their team as Gerrard did for Liverpool. And again, the argument could be made that they didn't have to, which again is fair enough. But Gerrard still did. He still did.
I watch football a lot. I know you do as well. So you'll probably back me on this. Before, present, and it's going to be a struggle in the future, I've never, ever seen a player that you can compare to Gerrard. I just haven't. There's always a player who you can go, oh, that guy's a bit like him, and he's got similar thing, and you can do little bits and pick. Bro, Gerrard was so special at everything that there's never been a player ever that you can bring me where you can go, he's like Gerrard, because he can do absolutely everything. Yeah. There is not one weakness in that man's game. Man, the man's such a G. Even when he went into management, the man ain't got no fucking weaknesses, bro. He just went undefeated in the league. Like, different. So trying to compare Henderson to him was unfair, bro. It was so unfair. Can you imagine being anybody being told, right, you've got to be the new Gerrard? How do you do that, bruv? Like,
impossible.
That's impossible, bruv.
Yeah.
You can't.
Sorry to bring a little bit of a downer to the show. I just want to address this before this gets out of hand. So, Tommy, we've actually spoken offline about this as well. And if you are someone who actually watches this show, you will know that all three of us have addressed the situation in Palestine. The situation with BLM and the Palestine situation are two very different things. So can we firstly not compare the two? Two very different things, both equally as bad, but in different ways. Second of all, let's not accuse us of doing this and not doing that when we've spoken about it and we've addressed it. And thirdly, if you're going to speak to me privately, keep the conversation private, or else I'll out you publicly as well. So we'll leave that there. If you want to be a man about these things, we'll be a man about it. If you don't want to be a man, then kindly you can leave and go and follow and support another channel. So nice one. Gonna leave that there. So all right, so 14-15 season rolls around now, and news breaks throughout this midway through the season that Gerrard's going to move on to MLS, going to sign for LA Galaxy, and we all know that Henderson's going to be next in line for the captaincy. But 14-15, Henderson kind of has a rough time with injuries. Picks up quite a few injuries that season and never hit the heights of the previous season. However, people kind of still arrive at because they knew it was the injuries. It wasn't just a lack of form or drop off in quality.
Do you remember how worrying it was, bro? Sorry to cut you. Because you remember that season, there was a lot of rumors that his career might be not over, but like he wasn't going to be able to get rid of that heel injury. And it was going to hamper the rest of his career. And there was a lot of panic going around thinking, shit, are we going to lose Hendo? Like, we just lost Gerrard. What's going on here? Like,
so that season, 14-15 was in the books. And obviously we got to semi-final of the Carling Cup, didn't win it. Got to semi-final of the FA Cup, lost to Villa in the end. It was a bad season. And then that culminated with a 6-1 loss to Stoke for Gerrard's last game. I know, I'm sorry I had to bring it up, man. I'm sorry.
No.
But then we get to 15-16, and I'll be honest with you. I wanted Brendan Rodgers sacked at the end of 14-15. He wasn't sacked. And then the following season... Yeah, that's fair enough. I'm a bit more harsh when it comes to those things. But he wasn't sacked, and then he was in charge of the start of the next season. But then in October, he was relieved of his duties, and a certain German came to the club as our new leader, Mr. Klopp. And straight away, there was talks of, all right, Henderson's going to be stripped of the captaincy, and Hendo's going to be one of the first names out the door. And I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I was one of them who was saying, you know what? Henderson could stay, but I don't want him to be a starter. And you see this captain thing, maybe he's not right for it. However, when Klopp came in, Klopp kind of dug his heels in and was like, no, this is my captain. This is going to be one of the players that I build a midfield around. When Klopp came in, Drift, did you fear for Henderson?
I didn't fear for him. I felt Klopp may... You know what's mad though? Because I remember the Dortmund team, and I remember players like Bender, and I felt like Klopp likes a workhorse. So I wasn't worried about him, so to speak. But I remember thinking, if he gets his way, maybe Hendo will be a bench player. You know what I mean? Like maybe. But what encouraged me was that Klopp was like, I will never come in and tell everybody what to do. I will always assess the situation and see where we go from there, and then I'll make my decision accordingly. So he was never going to come in and strip Hendo like a Mourinho would, where he just comes in on some hype thing. He's like, right, I'm in charge. I do what I want. I don't really care. He was like, I'm going to let you keep doing what you're doing, watch what you're doing, check where there could be something going wrong, and then I'll act accordingly. And I knew Hendo would prove himself to him in that way. I knew that there was no way he was going to watch Hendo work and then think, oh yeah, I'm going to get rid of you. I knew if he gave him a chance to prove himself, Hendo would prove himself. You get what I mean? So I wasn't worried for him, but I did think maybe if Klopp gets his way, there may be one or two players he'll bring in that will mean Hendo becomes bench by default, so to speak. I mean, it technically nearly happened.
Yeah. So here's the thing, Drift. I might as well just be honest with everyone, because I'll end up slipping out one way or another. So I might as well get it before it leaks out, innit? I actually wanted Milner to be our captain. And it's weird because obviously he just joined the club and he joined for Man City, who had stopped us winning the league, and he was a part of that team. But Milner just seemed like a leader through and through. And when Milner turned up and was straight away given the vice captain role, I was like, just give him the full thing, man. Hendo can be vice captain. I wanted Milner to be captain. And looking back, it was harsh because Hendo had only had one season as captain. But because that season was so bad and we'd started the next season so badly, I was thinking maybe we just need to rip out the foundation, just start all over again. But But again, Klopp didn't do that. And Klopp could have easily have done that. He resisted the temptation to. And that season, again, we got to the final of the Carling Cup or the League Cup. Lost out to Man City because, again, Mignolet made a mistake for their goal, and then we kind of bottled it in the penalty shootout. Then we went on to play Borussia Dortmund in the quarterfinals of the Europa League. And I don't know if you remember in the first leg drift, Henderson was having a decent game and ended up getting a bad knee injury. That knee injury would end up ruling him out for the rest of the season. And obviously, Degsy and all the rest of the boys got us through that tie with one of the most just amazing games.
Who scored the away goal?
Degsy, one of the the away goal.
No. Who scored the away?
Origi.
Oh yeah, no, sir. Who got the winner again? Who got the winner?
Degsy.
Oh, Origi and Degsy.
Yeah. So yeah, them two saved Liverpool, and we went through. And then obviously we went through. We got past Villarreal after losing the first leg, but we got through quite comfortably. Shout out to Brendan. Yeah, I still love Henderson's stare at Diego Costa. Diego Costa hasn't been the same since. I think he took part of his soul that day.
Do you know what's mad? Yeah? Do you remember Costa did a really dirty foul on Hendo, but it was from behind, and Hendo needed a couple of minutes worth of treatment, so he didn't even know who fouled him. And I never forget, you know, when they zoom in on the thing and they forget that there's a microphone. And I remember you heard Hendo going, "Who fucking did it? Who did it? Who the fuck did that?" And like the physio was a bit like, "I don't know, bro. I'm just here to fix you." And then Hendo started asking all the Liverpool players, "Who the fuck was who fouled me?" And no, it was like everyone was a bit shook to tell him because, bro, he had a fire in his eyes. And I remember just thinking, my fucking captain. That was the moment, I think, when I was like, my captain. And from then, it's been the talk about my captain thing from ever. But everyone was shook at Diego Costa. Everybody. Henderson didn't give a fuck, bro. And for anyone who lives in England who knows, you see, the Northeast, bro, you don't fuck with them, man, you know, bro.
Don't play with them.
Bro, you don't fuck with them, man, bro. I'm telling you, bro.
They're fully about it.
Bro, anyone who come back is top in the winter, not feel it, bro. Don't.
And it's not known. It's hand-to-hand combat.
Hand-to-hand combat, bro.
They're fully good with hand-to-hand combat.
Bro, no weapons, no one join in. Man will tell everyone, "I've got this." You man, don't jump in. I've got this.
Hand-to-hand combat.
Hand-to-hand combat, bro. It's but they man.
I'll tell you another thing as well, and this is the beauty of football. And when people say certain things, we have to kind of step back as fans because we don't know what happens behind the scenes. But I remember Carragher came out with a story not recently, but quite a few years after it happened, about Henderson basically sticking it on Luis Suarez. And this was when Suarez was at his peak as well at Liverpool, where I can't remember what happened, but he tried to have a go at Henderson, and Henderson just basically just dealt with him in training. Apparently, it was just like, "I'll tear your face off." And since that day, Suarez was just good as gold around Henderson. All the guy, there's levels to this, innit? And again, this is the beauty of sort of life as well, because everyone thinks you got to be the loudest person in the room and you got to have a screw face and all this. But sometimes you're the nice guy, but you got to do what you got to do behind the scenes, innit? And it's like Henderson's one of them guys. You're not going to see him go out and try and take out a player like Charleston or one of those Everton boys, or like what Roy Keane used to do. You're not going to see him do that. But if he needs to back it and he needs to stick up for himself or stick up for someone else, you never have to fear that Henderson's going to be about. And I think that's why he's loved as a captain and loved as a player, because he will 100%. Do what he has to do. He doesn't just throw his weight around just for the sake of it. He will step in when it needs to be done. So going on to after 15-16, obviously we lost the Europa League final to Sevilla 3-1. He couldn't play in that game either. Start of 16-17, he was asked to change from being a box-to-box midfielder to being a holding midfielder. So we now started playing a 4-3-3 regularly. But the main midfield that season going into it was Henderson at the base, Gini Wijnaldum and Adam Lallana as the 2 8s. I'll be honest with you, but obviously we've watched it separately. the Barcelona game at Wembley, where we beat them 4-0. And I said, you know what? This Klopp team is something special potentially, you know. But at the same time, this is where scorelines can be a bit deceiving. Barca could have had a few goals in that game.
Yeah. They could.
And they kind of ran through our midfield a few times. And I was just like, Hendo, Genie, and Wijnaldum. Because remember, Wijnaldum was played as a left-sided forward for Newcastle. Lallana was never played as an 8. Lallana had never played as an 8 for us before. So I was like, this is completely new midfield. Plus Henderson as a sitter. Like, in my mind, you know what I'm like. I want my sitter to be bit. I want him to have no flashy hairstyle. I just want him to be mean.
We saying you'd play me a DM, yeah?
100%, bruv. You see you, yeah? Bruv, don't even think you're getting in the opposition box, bruv. Not even for corners.
I'm not good at tackling. That'll be such a mistake, bruv.
You see after you first came to the ground, bruv, and I'd see your head was bit. I'd be like, I'd pull you to us and be like, yeah, Drift, remember we signed you as a forward, but I want to experiment with something, yeah? And you'd be like, what? And I'd be like, yeah, you see that number 6 shirt? That's yours now. That's you.
I would have had the pace to get about, but I wouldn't have been making good tackles, bro.
That's what you think, though. I think everyone's got it in them, man.
Bro, I would have been mistiming. You know when with the momentum just takes you through the player, bro. I would have been doing better at that, bro.
But that season, Henderson started the season really well. And I remember he scored a wonder goal up at Chelsea against Courtois. We won that game 2-1. And that was after Antonio Conte just come in. And obviously Chelsea went on to win the league that season and were brilliant, especially in the second half of that season. But our main goal for that season was to finish top 4. And Henderson led us to that. Won't say he had a great season. He had a good season. But he led us to that. After getting to the Champions League, Drift, was the beginning of the 17-18. And we signed Ox, Salah, Emre Can had just left as well. No, Emre Can was going into last year of his contract, sorry. Did you think Henderson would play as well as he did in 17-18? And again, do you think that there was another pivotal moment in his career as a captain that saw him take on another level?
Am I mistaken in remembering that was a season when injuries started to plague him again, wasn't it?
No, not too bad. 17-18 from what I remember. A few injuries
maybe
here and
it was 16-17. One of the Klopp seasons, he started to get the injury curse again, and like the heel started bothering him again. Was it 16-17 or
17?
Yeah, I remember, and I remember being a bit worried about him from an injury point of view. That was what was worrying me a little bit, because obviously when you hear, you lot know I get a little bit over angst about the injury stuff and whatnot. And I remember because of the injuries that he'd been getting under Brendan, I was a bit worried that they were coming back and he was going to it was going to plague his career again and all that. He'll never be the same and all that stuff. I was a little bit worried about that. But I never ever doubted that he was physically or mentally, if he was on the pitch, going to be a letdown at any point. And you know what? The mad thing is, 17-18, we lost the Champions League final, fair enough. But we were bad that season. I know we weren't that great defensively, but we were bad that season. Like that football was so beautiful to watch. And you know what? I need to find the footage, And I know he ain't here, and I know it's not right to out him while he's taking care of his beautiful little baby girl. But Matt told me he was swapped Pogba for Henderson in an argument we had on screen, And I was like, you know, when you're just like, I can't believe. And the thing is, a lot of other people agreed. He wasn't on his own. It wasn't like he was talking and nobody else agreed.
So was this back in 17-18, yeah?
The 17-18, the season we lost the Champions League final.
When did Pogba join?
I think that was the first year or the second year of him being back at Man U, because I think they won the Europa League that year, didn't they? I think 17-18 was the season that Mourinho won them the Europa League, I think.
I can't remember. See, here's the thing. I understand why Matt said that. In hindsight, I think it's aged badly.
loads of people agreed with him. He wasn't on his own. I felt, Bob, I was the minority in that argument.
Yeah,
I'll be
you would have
honest.
been. You would have been.
I was the minority in that argument. I definitely was the minority in that argument, bro. 100%. Loads of people agreed with it. Loads of people. So, but I was just like, I ain't swapping Hendo for no one. No one. You don't get leadership like this, man. You don't. Forget about how good he is as a player, even. You don't get leadership. I used to say to people, so what's Pogba going to do when he's having a bad game? How's he going to help you when he's having a bad game? Because I tell you what, even if Hendo's having a bad game, he will still be influential in a positive way on the rest of his teammates. Do you get what I'm saying? What's going to happen when Pogba's having a bad game? Because once Pogba's having a bad game, it's a meltdown. Like, everything's just popping down. The whole midfield's just going to collapse out here. Do you get what I'm saying? So I was always of the notion that I didn't really give a shit whether you rated him or not. I always rated him. He was always one of the first 3 names on my team sheet. And he still is, bro. Even we have banterful arguments about it. I'm like, but he still is. I thought, bro, Hendo is always in the top 3 names on my team sheet. I don't care. I don't.
That's fair enough.
I mean, obviously, we're going to get to the 18-19 season when Henderson nearly got done out here, really, if Klopp really had got his way.
So before we do that, Chris Brack, shout out to Chris Brack from the LFC Day Trippers. Evening, lads. Henderson, 10 years. Wow. Big question. This one's for Drift. Henderson or Origi?
Hendo.
Wow. You answered that quick, bro.
Yeah, but you don't know Origi's my guy, but Hendo's the ultimate.
Origi under the bus like that, bro.
I'm not throwing him under the bus. I've just got to make a decision.
Well, it looks like you threw him under a double decker, bro.
You know those people who've got 2 brothers, and if somebody says which one do you like the better, you're like, will my brothers find out? No. Oh, it's blatantly, didn't it? Like
blatantly. Oh boy. I also saw Dave's LFC chats in the comments earlier. Shout out to Dave LFC chats. Go and check him out on YouTube. Obviously, go and check out the LFC Day Trippers. Just got over 10k subscribers. So shout out to the Day Trippers.
Big up them, man.
Shout out to the 1892 Reds podcast as well. Go and support them. Another great Liverpool channel. All right. So end of 17-18 didn't go as Hendo expected or wanted. We lost the Champions League final, unfortunately, to Real Madrid. And I just remember him on the pitch crying. And that hurt. That really hurt. Because, again, he didn't have a very good game that game, but he had a good season. But it was a weird one. Sorry, give me one sec, Drift.
Yeah.
But what I will ask you before I just come off camera really quickly, the end of 17-18 and going to 18-19, we were looking at getting Fabinho and Naby Fekir and Naby Keita. Did you think that was going to be the end for Hendo? Give me one sec, Drift, while you answer that.
If I'm being completely honest with you, to answer Cal's question, kind of, yeah. I kind of did. I kind of felt like it wasn't Klopp in any way, shape or form wanting to get rid of Hendo, because I know Klopp has never, ever wanted to get rid of Hendo. But what I felt like he wanted to do, he wanted options, and we know he loves a rotation in midfield. We've seen it. It's the only position in our team that Klopp rotates. So we know, regardless of whether anything is going on in the team with injuries, fatigue, no matter whatever it is, midfield he will rotate by choice. So I felt like he was definitely looking to do a rotation thing. But I looked at the midfield, and obviously hindsight is everything. But when you look at Fabinho sitting, Naby box to box, and Fekir doing the attack, I can't even I can't have any Hendo bias in thinking that midfield would have been disgusting, bro.
And then you still would have had Henderson.
If it had panned out the way it was, sir, bro.
And you would have still had Henderson, Ox, and Lallana in reserve as well.
And Milner.
Aye.
And you know what? I get where Klopp was going. I do. I'm not going to be ignorant to the fact that Hendo's my guy. I get where he was going, because if it had panned out the way it was meant to, Naby doesn't come in and get all these injuries, and he's Leipzig box-to-box Naby, and Fekir is proper Leon Fekir, and then Fabinho just doing what Fabinho does. I can't even lie. That midfield would have been dirty, bro.
As man like Matt would say, OnlyFans activated.
Bruv, that midfield would have been dirty. But do you want to know what's crazy though, bro? I believe that Hendo would have still forced his way in by just being who he is. Somewhere you would have found...
It'd have been an expensive Naby.
It would have. It would have. And that isn't even being shady. I think it would have been at the expense of Naby.
Fekir was so good when we could have signed. He was so good.
Bruv, everybody was shook, bruv, when we were going to get Fekir.
Fekir was so good.
Everybody was shook when we were going to get Fekir.
He's still good now. He's just playing in a lesser team, but he's still good now. But that Fekir right there, and that Naby, with that Fabinho, that Van Dijk, that Alisson, I'll be honest, yeah. If we had signed Fekir that summer, that would have gone down as the greatest summer transfer in Liverpool's history. Summer transfer window. That would have gone down as our greatest.
So that would have been Naby, even though we'd bought him the year before, but that would have been the year he arrived. Fabinho, Fekir, Alisson, and Shaqiri. Oh, bro.
Leave it out. That would have been the best summer transfer window our club has ever seen.
Do you know what? That would have actually given FSG a leg to stand on.
You see Fekir, yeah? You see this whole talk about do we need a creative midfielder or not? We wouldn't be having this conversation. You see when people still say, oh, should we get Coutinho back? We wouldn't be having this conversation.
No, yeah, not if we'd had Fekir. No.
And I'll tell you what was different about Fekir. But he was creative, he was brilliant, but he had that nastiness about it. He weren't going to get bullied. Like, you know, your number 10s are quote unquote soft. Like, you could throw them about you.
Yeah.
Shall I tell you what it was, bro? I watched the game with Fekir, yeah, and it was actually happened to Koletakar. Koletakar tried to foul him off the ball. Bro, when I'm telling you, he turned around to Koletakar and just grabbed him by the throat. But he wasn't angry. He wasn't shouting or screaming. He's shorter than Koletakar, innit? He just grabbed man by the throat and looked into his eyes to say, bruv, don't do that again. Like, and I was just like, bro, he don't have none of it. Like, he just dealt with about 4 players with the ball and someone took him out and he's thinking, no, I'm not a soft one like that.
But he's Algerian, right?
Yeah, you don't play with them, man.
Bruv, you don't play with Algerians, bruv. You don't play with Algerians.
Look at Zidane.
Bruv, you don't play with Algerians. They will bruck you up. It's simple. You don't rant with them, brothers. Like, what are you doing? You should know better, bro.
Hold on. Another name we forgot we had as well. Why now at that time as well? Oh my goodness. We were a Fekir away from having the best midfield, in my opinion, in world football and the best backups in world football.
Yeah, but Klopp knew that the best way for him to execute what he wanted to do was to make sure his engine room could be fully rotated whenever he needed it to. And as I was saying just before you came back, midfield is the place that he doesn't mind rotating. I don't know if it's because it's the position where he trusts the players the most, but it kind of feels deliberate that we have more players in that position because he knows you have to keep the engine ticking. When you take your driving test, what do they tell you? Do you know how to change the oil? Do you know where the water goes? Because as long as you do those things, you have to change tires and brakes and all that, but the engine will work. As long as you make sure you do that, the engine will work. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think if we'd have got Fekir, we would have had the perfect blend of everything you need. We'd have had Oxen Fekir for attack. We'd have had Genie, Hendo, and Naby for box to box. We'd have had Milner for utility, and we would have had Fabinho for sitting.
Facts.
Knowing Hendo can, sit in if you need him to as well. I would have had the perfect blend of everything you need in your midfield. Everything. The creativity from Fekir as well. We'd have had the perfect blend of what you need, bro.
Facts.
I mean, we kind of already did even without Fekir. So you just add Fekir and it's just ridiculous.
It's crazy. But 18-19 didn't go according to plan for Naby Keita, who's bit part player because of injuries, which has unfortunately sort of been the story of his Liverpool career. However, in the league, we became a consistency monster. And we ended up losing out on the league by 1 point to the winners, Manchester City. However, there was unfinished business from the season before in the Champions League. That Barcelona game at Anfield, where
and Hendo played through injury for 40 minutes.
Bro, you see that performance from a captain right there? Sensational. And you see when he collapsed to the floor
at full time.
Bro, I kid you not, I got goosebumps on my arm thinking about it now, bro. Because we've all been there on a football pitch where you're like, I can't give any more. I've got nothing really left to give now. And he got to that brick wall and that pain barrier and he said, nah, F this. I don't know no pain for the next
I'm not having
an hour. We're getting through this cup. We're getting through this semi-final. And he led that team in a Gerrard-esque way. Like, I mean, he didn't get the goals.
100%. Yeah.
On the pitch, crunching into tackles, making the right pass at the right time, covering space, defensively brilliant. He was absolutely incredible that night.
Even getting in the box, bro. He created the first goal.
Yeah, he did. You're right. And you see that performance right there? And once again, he's constantly having to prove himself. That was another marker where he could just look at the public and look at the world and say, I'll tick that off as well. You think I couldn't get my club through a situation where everyone wrote us off? Well, I'll add that to the list as well. Tick. What else is next? It's like he's constantly had to go through these tasks and prove that he's a captain. And that was just another one to notch off and tick. And then obviously we went to Madrid and we won it for the 6th time. And I'll be honest, you see that moment, there was 2 moments that stood out to me after the final whistle blew. There was Henderson and Klopp embracing and both of them crying. And it was when Henderson went over to his dad and he embraced his dad.
Sir, am I frozen in your screen?
Frozen. Yeah, you're frozen.
What's going on here?
You got resting B face at the moment still, bruv.
You know what? I think, no, 1 second. I think, let me change the battery.
Your face looks like your face looks like you're saying, child. Child.
But I think the battery's got too hot. Let me check the battery.
Child, he don't even know.
Let me change the battery. Hold on.
That's fine, because I've taken a picture of that. So look out for that on social media, people. But yeah, those 2 moments when he embraced Klopp and started, they both started crying, and then the second one where he embraced his dad, heart-wrenching moments for all the right reasons. And then come to find out, his dad had been, if I'm not mistaken, I hope I've not got this wrong, but his dad had cancer while Henderson was going through that season. And if you actually remember that season, Henderson actually got dropped from the team for a little bit, was on the bench. And he came back against Southampton and scored a vital 3rd goal to clinch that game. And from that game, he just went on and just was a monster until the end of the season. I remember playing against Chelsea, we beat them 2-0. He was the one who kind of dinked it for Mane to score the first goal in that game. And then obviously Salah got the winner, making it 2-0 with that screamer. He was just excellent for that whole running. And we were so unlucky not to win that league. But the Champions League, again, we had no right to go through against Barcelona, and he just went and he was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And again, it just showed what a quality captain he was and is. Sorry, Drift, I was just saying about the fact that what his dad went through that season as well, because his dad had tongue cancer and he never let anyone know about it. And
I was going to say, that's what I was going to say, bro. It wasn't even just about the performances on the pitch. Off the field, he was going through a lot, bro.
Going through a lot. You see this whole narrative of footballers just need to play the game. It's like we take it so much for granted. You see, when they go through grief just like us. Dare I say it, maybe even worse than us to an extent, because they can't actually grieve like we would grieve. Like, again, God forbid, but let's say someone in my family passed away. I could call my workplace and say, you know what, guys, like this has happened. I'm going to be out for a little while. And my workplace would turn around and be like, take as long as you need, Cal. Henderson couldn't do that. We've seen it this season with Alisson and Klopp. They couldn't do that.
I was going to say, no, Klopp should have had a lot of times where he wasn't asked to do interviews.
Yeah, but they had to just keep on doing it. So it's like it's a weird one. But again, he got through that, and then obviously, so he's won the Champions League. He'd already won the League Cup. Now he was qualified for the World Club Cup. He led us to that. But the one everyone really wanted was the league, the Premier League. After getting so close on 97 points and losing it by 1 point to City, could he sort of strike up and make the team go again? And we know what he did in 1920. We know what he did. In 1920, he won the FWA Football of the Year, Football Writers Award, Football of the Year. After 30 years of hurt, he led us to the Premier League title. He did that. Like, say what you want about Jordan Henderson, but in one calendar year, pretty much, Champions League, World Club Cup, European Super Cup, and Premier League, put some respect on his name. Put some respect on his name.
Before we get to that, because we will get to that, because my phone just messed up. At the end of that Barcelona game, bro, in the Champions League, there's a picture, and it's one of the most beautiful pictures I've ever seen in my life. And basically, it's Milner and Wijnaldum hugging, and in the background, Henderson's got his hands over his face, lying down in agony after collapsing because obviously, like, the final whistle went. And everything you need to know about who we are is in that picture, because obviously you've got the crowd cheering as well. Everything you need to know, whoever took that picture is an absolute genius, because everything you need to know, the embodiment of the embrace from Genie and Milner of like the camaraderie and the togetherness. You got the crowd going mad and Anfield showing exactly why we are who we are. And then you got Hendo, the leader, who's literally like, I can actually take a break now, you know, like that kind of, I can rest almost, like I've done the deed, like I'm at that moment now. Everything about that picture, I need to actually get that picture because I had it and I don't know where it is, and I need to get that picture back. That picture is amazing.
No, it's just
all three captains in the picture as well.
Yeah,
I just thought about all three of the club captains are in that picture.
It's just amazing, man. Absolutely amazing. And then obviously leads us to the Premier League. Drift. We actually started Kop-Ish as a trio at the beginning of 1920 season. And none of us thought we were going to win the league. We thought that we'd definitely finish top four. I think I predicted we'd finish third. You predicted third. Matt predicted second. But we all had City to win the league because of our summer transfer activity or lack thereof.
I thought we might do a back-to-back Champions League.
Which, again, we probably would have had it not been for a certain goalkeeper that season, but we won't speak on that. But none of us thought we'd win the league. Henderson and Liverpool proved us wrong. So I'm going to ask you, Drift, with Henderson winning the Premier League, where does he rank amongst captains Liverpool have had? And I'd say maybe since the start of the Premier League era. And again, I know I'm cheating a little bit because I wasn't really alive before the Premier League era, so I can't speak on captains. Obviously, I can speak about your Souness's and stuff because I've watched loads of footage of them in the past. I know what they mean to Liverpool and the club's ethos and everything. But since I can remember, we've had John Barnes as club captain, we've had Paul Ince, we've had Fowler, we've had McManaman at one stage, then we had Jamie Redknapp. Then we had Hoopier. Then we had Gerrard, and then we had Henderson. So 7 captains that I can remember.
I think at one point, how the hell have I forgotten? McAllister was captain as well at one point.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you, Drift, out of those 7 captains that I can remember, where does Henderson rank? And bearing in mind, Henderson's only 30, I believe. So 31. He's effective. No, 30. He's still 30.
Is he still 30? I thought he was 31.
No, he's 31 this year. I think his birthday's in August, if I'm not mistaken. But
so we're talking we're talking art era,
Prem era, yeah.
We're talking art era.
Where does he rank? Say it. I know what you want to say. Say it. I don't think it's a wrong answer. It's not nice. It's not an answer many are going to agree with. I don't think it's a stupid answer though. If you're going to say what I think you're going to say,
he's the best captain we've ever had in the Premier League era. He's not the best player captain, which is what I think a lot of people have got to make sure they know that there's a difference. You've got to differentiate between the player. Can't talk to Barnes as a player. Can't talk to Ince as a player. Can't talk to Gerrard as a player. Can't talk to Redknapp as a player. There's all those players, Fowler. He can't talk to them as a player, but you're asking me captain. So I've got to remove how good they were as players away from it. As a leader, bro, this guy's in all the campaigns. Do you know how happy it made me when he stood up for Black Lives Matter? He's got all of these things that he's doing now. When the Super League came, he sat down all the captains and went, yo, you man, we're not doing this, you know.
NHS with COVID.
NHS with, bruv, this is, people don't actually understand what type of human being Jordan Henderson is. This man is but bullying, online social media bullying. Yeah. Bruv, Jordan Head, bro, it's different. Bruv, it's different. Like when it comes to actually as a footballer, you can't talk to them, man. Do you get what I mean? Like we got to be honest. Like even though I think Jordan Henderson is a world-class player, he ain't talking to a Barnes or a Ince or a Gerrard. Like, I know that I'm never gonna sit here and talk rubbish just for the sake of it. But a lot of what they did was they led by the example of their ability. And it isn't that they're not, look at Gerrard, what he's doing now, Rangers. Of course he's a leader. But a lot of the time they would actually lead with their ability. And then the other stuff would just follow behind. Jordan Henderson is the guy who knows he hasn't got the ability of the others. So he just straight up leads, bro. Like straight up. Like because no one can even go, oh, what, he's just a good captain because he's a good player. No, he's a good player because he's a good human being, bro. Yeah. And people listen to him. There's a reason why we got players in our team way better than him who show him nothing but respect. But we've got the best defender to ever play in the Premier League. Yeah, I said it. The best defender to ever play in the Premier League. And he will let Henderson tell him about himself. And he's a great leader in his own right himself, bro. And he will still be like, all right, Hendo, now I'm going to listen to you. What you got to say, bro? Because that is how much respect this man demands by being
Thiago.
Years. Thiago, Salah, Mane, Ali, all these bad boys, they all listen. When he talks, they listen, bro. Yeah. If Jordan Henderson says, right, I need a word, I know there's certain man who think, shit, the captain wants to talk to me, but I'm in trouble. Fuck, what did I do?
Yeah. I think the only person who doesn't is probably Milner.
Yeah, probably. But then again, I don't know. Yeah, you know what? As a senior player to him, maybe he's a bit like, I respect you, obviously, but I'm older than you, bro. So, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm vice captain as well. And we got to be honest as well. We could do a Millie special. What a sensational captain James Milner is, by the way. Like, I wouldn't even have, you know, when you said you want Hendo, you wanted Milner, I wouldn't have had a problem if they'd have given it to Milner. Yeah. I still think it should be Hendo, but Millie, James, most underrated player ever to play in the Premier League, Milner. Bro, you know what I'm saying? So you're probably right, but that's probably a seniority thing because he's 5 years older than him. But you're right, maybe. But bro, they all listen. When Jordan Henderson tells their man to shut their mouth, they shut their mouth, bro.
It's facts.
Facts, bro. You know what I'm saying? And we're not talking about because he's messy, because everyone just knows I can't talk to him as a player. There's got to be something more in there when you've got respect for a man who's not even better at you than what you do. That's different, bro. That's different. That's almost like knowing you can bruck your dad up, but because he's your dad, you still shut your mouth. You still shut your mouth. You don't live at home anymore, nothing. But you know what? That respect there because of who he is, you still listen. Certain times, you know, there's enough man out there.
That could be me and Stevie one day still. The boys getting
there
strong.
You go, bro. There you go. You know how many men out there, their dad still bads them up, and there's no need for you to get badded up by your dad now. No need. But you've got so much respect for him, for what he did for you and what he is and what a man he is. You shut up and you listen. You're a big Ross Clark, 30-year-old man or older, and you still shut up and you do what you're told, or you listen because you've got respect for that man. And that's the type of respect that Henderson commands, bro. It's different. It's different. So if you're talking about all round, it's always going to be Stevie for all round, because Stevie, as we said, There's never going to be anyone like him. He's just different. But if you're just talking about his ability as an actual leader, captain, I think he's got to be Hendo, bro. He's done too much in the time he's been Liverpool captain. For me he's done too much.
See, here's the thing. I don't agree with you, but the points you make, I can't sit here and be like me and you go back and forth all the time about stuff. I can't sit here and be like, oh, Drift, that's terrible take, or I fully get why you say that. I think it's Gerrard. I do think it's Gerrard. And then I think it's Henderson and then Hoopy a third. But I can't sit here and be like, no, it's definitely Gerrard. What are you chatting about? No, Drift, you're wrong. Every argument you made right there, I can't turn around and say that you're wrong. Like, they're great arguments. The only reason I go with Gerrard is because as a captain, I think he could do everything Jordan Henderson could do. But he was able to back out with his playing ability as well. And I think you put Gerrard in any team in any Liverpool era and he shines, and potentially is the captain in any era as well. So that's the only reason it does it for Gerrard.
That's why I won't argue with you, bro. That's why I won't argue with you. Your argument is solid and has no holes in it either. So I can't even argue with you either, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's one of them ones.
All right, so going to help some of the super chats for our Arts Drift. One last question before we sign off. Dinesh says, evening, why are you crying? Because it's hot. Man up. I work as an electrician. We have to deal with hot weather. Henderson is a Liverpool legend captain. No, I'm not gonna rebuttal that. I got to take that one.
You know how hot it is outside when I've got the sun beating down on me, bro. Shut up.
Shout out to Demo Drake. I turned with Henderson when he shifted a ball on his right foot and curled it top bins versus Man City. Armband, green boots, and something Gerrard would be proud of. We won that game 2-1. Do you remember who scored the second goal in that game? He was a screamer.
Was it Sturridge?
Nah, Coots. Coutinho.
Against Man City?
Yeah, we won that game 2-1. He cut in again.
But hold on, Hendo's packed it top corner against City twice, hasn't he? Am I getting which game?
Just once.
Oh no, it's Chelsea's done it twice.
Yeah.
No, he scored. I'm sure he scored 2 screamers past Man City.
No, just.
Am I losing my mind? Hold on.
No, in that same game, Coutinho scored a very similar goal to Henderson.
But was it at the other end?
Yeah. They scored one in each half.
Yeah.
JR says, who's been best for Liverpool, Joe Allen or Naby Keita?
We can't hate. It's Joe Allen. He's not as good of a footballer as Naby Keita, but he was ever present and played more of a role over the course of the time he was there. I know people might come for me, but that wasn't a question of ability. That was just what they've contributed to Liverpool. Joe Allen contributed more than Naby Keita.
True or false, you will fight again this year?
It's hard to put it.
I ain't saying nothing.
Joe Allen was better than people give him credit for, man.
1975 Jamrock says, false. Drifty James Pierce reported that Brendan Rodgers was actually the one that wanted Clint Dempsey, and Henderson said no, and he actually cried about it. Oh, that says a lot.
No. I know that. I know Henderson was the one who fucked up the deal. No, I know that. Hendo actually went, no, I'm not going there. Yeah. And apparently Brendan was actually quite vexed at him for it as well. Yeah. I know that. Henderson dug his heels in, and I'm so glad he did.
1975 Jamrock says, Cal, you can't deserve something you've no control over. No, I hear you, 1975. You hit me with them Thanos quotes, bro. Like, I get you, man. I get you. Come on, 1975 Jamrock. You know what I meant when I said that. 1975 Jamrock again says 13-14 Brendan bottled it, nothing to do with FSG. I think there's a wider.
We blamed FSG for that season. We didn't blame.
No, we talked about FSG in the beginning of the 12-13 season, not the 13-14.
Although you did make a very valid point, or was it someone else?
It was me, Salah.
In 13-14, in that 13-14 season, we should have actually brought in a defensive reinforcement in the January window.
No, we should have signed Salah that window as well. Remember,
yeah, we should have. No, but that was Chelsea doing their dirty. You know what Chelsea are like.
No, that's because we were umming and ahhing about the deal, and Chelsea came in and just paid the money.
There is a different show. But that was Chelsea didn't even want him. They just knew we wanted him, so they just came in on some idiot thing. I tell you, the one that was FSG fault was Conor Plianka. That was the one that was FSG fault, because you can't take a man's player with 1 hour to go and leave all that room for error. Like, you even sent Thingy over there. Like, that deal should have got done way before it got done. But in that window though, bro, maybe it was someone when I did the show the other day with the guys. In that January window, we should have bought a centre back, because defending was what our problem was, and we were relying on Kolo Touré, who was past his best.
No, we can't. No, we had defensive numbers. We had Skirtle, Aga, Sacco, and Kolo Touré that season.
No, but wasn't Aga was struggling with injury?
He was, yeah.
And I'm sure Sacco had an injury as well, didn't he?
No, Sacco was good that season.
Because it was Kolo and Thingy that were playing like loads of games. And I remember when Kolo fucked up against Fulham, I was like, oh.
No, it wasn't Fulham, it was West Brom. So
who fucked up at Fulham? That was Lucas, I think, that fucked up at Fulham.
No,
I remember Fulham. No, didn't he score an own? I'm sure Kolo scored an own goal against Fulham.
He did score an own goal against Fulham, yeah. We won that game 2-1, though. We won that game 2-1.
No, then we drew that game.
No, I won 2-1. Jar got a last-minute penalty.
Maybe West Brom was the game that we drew then when Kolo...
We did, yeah, when Kolo played the ball across the box and the Nietzsche yeah. Yeah, Kolo had his moments still. I've got love for Kolo, though. Johnny 10 Gun says, we were brilliant. Do you remember Roma fans clapping us? I do. We gave Roma a beating that day. Absolute beating. Alex is shit.
FSG fucked this one. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what he's doing now, but at the time he was a bad boy and we should have got him.
Big up to our brother Stro. Fekir versus City in the Champions League. Fire. Didn't we have Chan at the same time? No, Chan left at the beginning, the end of the 17-18 season. 1975 Jamrock says, Drifty, we needed 7 points from Chelsea, Crystal Palace and Newcastle. No, I get what you're saying, 1975 Jamrock. Brendan messed up, but at the same time, do you know what? To tell you how it is, Brendan messed up. He did. We set up our tactics completely wrong. So 1975 Jamrock, I believe that's correct what you're saying. Because against Chelsea, we set up all. Do you know
why I disagree, bro? Because I really felt bad for Brendan in that moment. That was a real damned if you do, damned if you don't. I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place moment. Because knowing all we needed was a draw against Chelsea, yeah? If we'd have changed what we'd been about and we'd have sat in and we'd have won that game and we'd have lost that game 1-0, everybody would have said that Brendan bottled it by not sticking to his guns. Him going for it and losing the game, then people go, oh, you bottled it. But without... It literally was just the accidental slip from Gerrard that fucked up the thing.
No, I think when we saw Chelsea's tactics, I think you can go for it, but you have to be responsible how you go for it. We weren't responsible, especially in the second half. We weren't responsible.
But we peppered them, bro. They never had no say in that game. If Gerrard doesn't accidentally slip, bro, we get the draw of the win in that game and we're all right, you know?
No, literally, I hear you.
That moment is just so fake.
But he also knew that Jose set up for as 1975 Jamrock says, Jose set up for a draw. He did. And
a draw was fine, though.
No, but it would have added more pressure to the Palace and the Newcastle game. Not to say that we couldn't have won it.
We knew we were going to smoke Palace and Newcastle if we drew with Chelsea.
Yeah, in theory.
If we drew with Chelsea, we'd have smoked Crystal Palace, bro. The Crystal Palace thing was only because we got negligent because we were chasing 8 goals or whatever.
That was silly. But that's what I think 1975.
No, but bro, he needed to go for it, bro, because people, when people say Crystal, bro, we still would have lost the league if we'd have beat Crystal Palace because they are such a superior.
I know, but it would have put more pressure onto City, and it would just make.
They were always going to spank West Ham in that last game, bro.
It wasn't even West Ham; it was the Aston Villa game as well.
Yeah, but they were always going to beat those two.
In theory,
madness.
It was.
They were always going to beat those two teams. It was the Crystal Palace game. Jose set up for the draw. A draw was cool. A draw would have won us the league. But the Gerrard slip, and it's not Gerrard's fault. Of course it's not.
It just
happens. But that moment is what made us have to go into panic mode in that game and start chasing the game. If that moment doesn't happen, we win the league, bro. Like that's the margins, the small margins, bro.
I hear that. Craig says Jay Spearing, Sean Dundee, Bruno Sherry, or Naby.
Bruh, that is. If you're talking
True or false, you will fight again this year.
It's hard to put it.
Matt's gonna kill us. 1975 Jamrock says, did Klopp bottle the league in the 18-19 season? Draw to Man United away, draw to West Ham away, draw to Everton away, draw to Leicester City at home, draw to Arsenal away, draw to City at home. I personally don't think Klopp bottled 18-19.
I think bottling it is being very disrespectful.
I think he bottled 2 games that season, but not bottled the league.
I definitely feel like 1 or 2 of those games shouldn't have been drawn. To call it bottling is ridiculous. We got 97 points, guys. To call it bottling is ridiculous. But there were 1 or 2 games. I remember that Leicester game.
It was a tip. But all right, so here's the thing, though. All right, so if I'm going to break down these games, hear me out, Drift, because I'm going to break down these games. So it was the first one where I was mentioned was a draw away to Man U. That was one of the 2 games I think he bottled that season. That one and the City game away from home, which we lost. The City game at home, I don't think we bottled that. We just didn't play well, and City didn't play well. We just, neither team really played well.
That was the 0-0 where Mahrez missed the penalty.
Precisely. The West Ham away draw, we actually should have lost that game. We were quite fortunate to get away with a draw, so I was all right with that because we didn't play very well. The Everton draw, we didn't bottle that game. Our finishing was just atrocious that day. Our finishing, that wasn't down to Klopp's tactics. Like, we ripped Everton apart many times in that game. The draw to Leicester at home, we should have actually had a penalty in that game. Naby Keita got a stonewall penalty and was denied a penalty in that game. Should have had a penalty.
Yeah,
and then the draw away to Arsenal, I don't know if you guys remember, but we had a goal disallowed in that game, which we shouldn't have had a goal disallowed. So I can't say it was bottled. But 2 games that season, I think we bottled it. It was the Man U game away and the Man City game. Sorry, the Man City game away as well. Those are the only 2. I wouldn't say you can't bottle the league on 97 points. I
think the reason why people, I know you can't really say this because they had injuries themselves, but that Firmino injury really confused us for a while during that Man U game. I feel like if they'd have been dropping like flies and Bobby had have been on the pitch, we would have ripped them apart. But Bobby's injury, because you got to remember, in the 18-19 season, we're talking peak Bobby. We're talking Bobby, the system Bobby. And I feel like him going out of that game, it disgruntled us. We were a bit like, oh shit, what do we do now kind of thing. If Bobby had stayed fit, we'd have smoked Man U that game.
Yeah, I agree.
But it was the Leicester game just because at that time, I think we would have killed
City's hopes.
Pep spirits. Yeah, if we'd have won that Leicester game, I remember it was snowing or like it was fucked up. The pitch was all fucked. Mane scored, we were 1-0 up. And I remember thinking, if we can win this game, we're going to put a big dent in their confidence. And then because we drew, they just... And Pep admitted it. Even this season, Pep was like, I thought we weren't going to win the league in November. And then I realised, hold on, it was like what we did gave him confidence to realise they could come back. You got to knock the stuffing out of these, man, bro. You know what I'm saying?
1975 Jamrock says, Man United, he bottled it and blamed it on Man United making 3 subs in the first half. I was so peed about that. West Ham, he blamed the wind. Yeah, he did. He did do those things.
You want to know what? You should never ever blame the wind for everything because it makes you look stupid. It does. Yeah, and both teams are playing in those conditions. But what I will say, shout out to anyone who's played Sunday League football. No one can't tell me the wind don't affect the game.
It does, but as you just said, it affects both teams, brother. It's not like the wind just blowing one direction.
I tell you why it doesn't always affect both teams. Because sometimes the wind is blowing in a direction. That means when you take a shot, the wind puts an extra 20 miles an hour behind your shot. Or it can start pushing the shot away and slow it down to make it easier. So sometimes it isn't affecting both. Sometimes it's only affecting one team.
Sorry, I just... Don't worry, we're playing down in the second half.
Hey, Sunday League football
Sunday League
stand
quotes.
up, bro.
Hey,
Man, them
goodness
know,
me.
bro.
Shout out to A United Team Reds
No.
podcast for that one. Jay Finn says he did drift. All he needed to do was change Steven to the top of the diamond and put Lucas to CDM because Chelsea wasn't going to press us. I agree with that.
I can't argue that. I can't argue that.
Michael Johnson said, I still think both Pep and Klopp will go down in history amongst the greatest ever managers. They seriously increased the standards of the league. I agree, although you guys know what I think of Pep and the fact he has a lot of money behind him. I need to see a bit more before I can put him in that bracket. That's just me personally.
They're top 5.
Yeah.
It's Ferguson, Mourinho, Klopp, Pep, and then Wenger. Top 5.
Yeah. Genie Houdini, another Chelsea which was the better goal question. Hendo's long shot versus Chelsea or Sturridge long shot versus Chelsea? Oh.
Hold on, am I living in deja vu or was we asked that question before?
No, we were asked the question about Sturridge and someone else. Sturridge and Salah. No, Sturridge and Salah we were asked about in the last show.
Yeah. But you know, for a minute there, I thought I was in the Twilight Zone. Bro.
Yeah, no, we were asked that. It was Salah and Sturridge though.
Hendo or Sturridge. Those are very similar. That's the difference. The Salah one was like a banger, whereas Sturridge and Hendo both just put that whip on it. Yeah. You know what? Which one are we talking about?
For me, it's Hendo.
And the Sunday League.
Put in the mixer.
Are we talking of which? Because remember, Jordan's packed 2 top corners against Chelsea. Which one are we talking about?
I'm trying to remember the second one. You're
Courtois and Azpilicueta. Those are the 2 that have been packed out by Hendo.
Kepa, you mean?
Arrizabalaga, sorry, yeah. Sorry, yeah.
When did he score the scream against Kepa?
That was the one when we beat them in the season we didn't win the league. I'm sure that was that season.
No.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure he's packed Kepa. I definitely know the one against Courtois when he put it top corner.
No, he's packed Courtois. He hasn't packed Kepa.
No, he has, bro. He's packed Kepa.
He hasn't. You must be thinking of
I'm
Naby,
not losing my mind, you lot. Hendo was packed Kepa. I'm sure.
You sure you're not thinking of Naby? Hold on, 3 minutes from time.
No, he packed Kepa, bruv. 100%, bruv. It was very identical to the one against Courtois, bruv. You're normally the one with the best memory, bruv.
That's why I'm glitching a little bit. Are you sure?
Bruv, he scored 2 of those special types of goals past Chelsea, bruv. 100%. Both at Stamford Bridge. I can't, bruv, you're making me second guess myself.
No, he hasn't scored 2 screamers against Chelsea.
He has. At Stamford Bridge. How? No, I cannot be losing my mind.
No, he hasn't, Drift. I'm almost certain he hasn't.
You lot are going to make me have to go in the archive. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Pause the show for 1 second. I need to clear this up.
Hold on. All right. So it says 2012? Did he score against? Oh, are you thinking about the one where he ran through? He nutmegged John Terry, ran through and then side-footed it.
No, hold on.
So Hendo hasn't packed. He hasn't scored against Chelsea since
that was the Courtois goal.
Kepa, it was Sturridge who packed out Kepa.
All right, hold on. I cannot be losing my mind. Hold on.
While you do that, I'm just gonna read out something.
Yeah. This is just for my curiosity. I can't believe
50.
it.
Tell the story of the Chelsea 13-14 game. And we don't want to relive those bad memories, man. 1975 Jamrock says we are the only team in Premier League history to lead it on Christmas Day and lose a title. We did it 4 times: 08-09, 13-14, 18-19, and 2021. 1975 Jamrock, not meaning to call you out here, and obviously we do want you to call in on Friday. I do find it a bit mad how you have a lot of heat and blame for managers, but not so much the owners. I do think that's something we need to discuss when we speak on the phone. I do think that is something we need to discuss. But what you said here is absolute facts. But I do think we need to discuss that. Bro, he hasn't scored against Chelsea since 2016, and that was the goal. That was the one against Courtois. The only other goal was the one where we lost it to them in the FA Cup final, and then we played them, I think 3 days later, beat them 4-1. Shelby scored a wonder goal in that game.
Am I losing my mind?
It was Shelby. So in that game, we beat them 4-1. Suarez ran down the right-hand side and cut in and then hit the ball, and Essien scored an own goal. Second goal, I believe, was Daniel Agger or Jordan Henderson. And then Henderson scored. And then the fourth one was, I can't remember who the goalie was for them, but the goalie kicked out. It fell to Shelby, sort of about 40 yards out, and he just volleyed it back in, half volleyed it back in. It was not Henderson. It's definitely not Henderson.
But I think I'm losing my mind.
Yeah, with this one, I think you've got it confused with something else.
Did he hit 2 bangers against Man City?
I don't think so.
Yes, it's City, you know. It's City that he's banged 2 goals from outside the box against. Yeah, it's City. I'm watching it now. All right, fair enough. My bad. I got the teams mixed up. Fuck both them pussies anyway.
Before we sign off, people, so first and foremost, do smash the like button, please. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Speaking of goals, Henderson's best goal drift, what is it and why?
His best celebration was him and Firmino. I love that. I love
that goal against Southampton.
Yeah, bro. That was my moment of the season.
That was my screensaver for a long time on my PC.
Yeah, that was my moment of the season. That was beautiful. Hendo's best goal. It might be the Chelsea screamer. It might be he put that so top corner. It was, and Courtois is a big ass youth.
I'm trying to think. So Norwich goal was a half volley. Swansea was a really good finish. Man City, the goal against Chelsea. He also scored a half volley, sort of a cut across the ball against Burnley, which was a really good goal.
Yeah. He don't score poor goals. He doesn't score. Do you remember the goal against Leicester when he chopped back inside and then sent both the goalie and the defender the wrong way?
He scored against someone this season, Palace.
Yes, good goal.
That was a good goal.
I wish that left foot strike could have gone in against Man U and hit the post, you know.
Yeah, same. I think it has to be the Chelsea one.
I'm going to go with the Chelsea one. That was
inch perfect.
Inch perfect.
And it was against a world-class goalkeeper as well. So I'm going to have to go with that one. But he's had some good goals, man. Some really good goals.
Really good.
But yeah, people, hope you've enjoyed the show. We've waxed lyrical about Henderson, 10-year anniversary today since he joined Liverpool. Let us know in the comments below your favorite Henderson moment and your favorite Henderson goal. And yeah, here's to at least another 5 years of Jordan Henderson at Liverpool, man. Hope he retires at the club.
And if
nothing but love and admiration.
I don't know what you're smoking.
Indeed. But people, we are going to be members video dropped yesterday, innit, Drift?
Yeah.
One dropped yesterday. One's going to drop today. And then we're going to have another one before Sunday as well. So make sure you look out for the members stuff. If you want to become a member, click the link in the description on YouTube. Remember, guys, we've got merch as well. Got merch. Doing the Kop-Ish lean and that. Got merch.
Yeah. And if anyone's been on the socials, they'll see that we are actually in the last week of the Basement Settings t-shirts, guys. And then it's gone for
Friday. So Friday, it will be out of commission. And we will be launching a new t-shirt on Monday. Streets Approved Thames says, Not a goal, but guys, remember that move Hendo was involved in between Robbo and Trent in the Champions League? Yes, when Robbo scored from Trent, that was excellent. If you want Kopish merch, go on, bro.
No, go on. Finish.
If you want Kopish merch, click the link in the description as well. Go for it, Drift, bro.
I was going to say, I know we was talking about his best goal, but while we're waxing Liverpool about Hendo, I just got to get it in now because afterwards I'm not going to be allowed to. What is his best moment? It don't have to be actually kicking ball, but what's Henderson's best moment for you? Or what's his best moment, or what moment meant the most to you?
Okay, so quickly say, so Dinesh says, I've sent you top 20 Henderson on Twitter. Blessed for that, Dinesh. Enough love, bro.
Will I need new boxer shorts?
All right, so his best moment for me was winning the Champions League. Even though the Premiership was the holy grail and we had never won it, I think the Champions League showed that he is a man that can lead this team to elite level honours. So I think that kind of got that hoodie off his back. And that was the first trophy he won as a captain as well.
When he showed that there's actually new ways to lift the trophy, even though trophy lifting's been done for over 100 years.
The Hendo shuffle and that.
Yeah. Revolutionary.
And then for me, the most... What was the second question? The one that hit me the most.
What Hendo moment means the most to you?
Him hugging his dad after the Champions League final.
Did you see what I wrote down, or did you read my mind, or what? Because there was a both of mine exact same moment.
Yeah, like you see that moment there? That's deep. That's deeper than football, isn't it? That's deeper than football.
That's
like to see your dad watch you win probably the most prestigious club competition in world football, especially after going through like cancer and stuff like that. I think very few moments can touch that.
Especially the way he looked up to his dad, because he said many a times, my dad made me who I am. I am who I am because my dad molded me. So that's his hero, isn't it? So you're right. That moment was beautiful. Yeah. That moment was beautiful. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie, him and Bobby hugging after that goal against Leicester was Southampton. I love that. Was big. And if you watch the 6 minutes of Jurgen Klopp after the final whistle of the Champions League, the moment him and Henderson realized that they're about to see each other and they both start crying in each other's arms, that was a good feeling as well, bro. I can't even lie, bro.
1975 Jamrock says, I have it in for managers when the title's in their grasp and they muck it up. Have heat for FSG depending on how far off the pace they are at the beginning of the season. Fair enough. You're consistent. I'll give you that. But people, we are going to be back on Friday for our live Kop-Ish call-in, so make sure you tune in for that. Obviously, if there's any breaking news before that, you will see us as well. Obviously, we've got a daily news show. Yeah. We've got a daily...
Hey, Liverpool breaking shit, bro.
No, we've got a daily news show as well. So people, make sure you keep up to date with us on social media. And thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. And until next time, people, stay safe, stay blessed. We're Kop-Ish and we're out, people. Take care.
Captain Fantastic.
Go.